sensor is a distance sensor. It uses light. It's created by a company called Sharp, who you'll probably know, and it's the Sharp GP2D12, which you can, no, it's not quite for GP2D12 sensor. So it's got 3 pins to it: ground, positive, and output. Now, how do we know which pins go where? Well, we can always do a quick search of this, and you can have a look on the data sheet. So I've just done a quick Google search for Sharp GP2D12, and that's the graph of displacement and voltage, and that's the most important part, is the pin out. So you can see a diagram of it on its side. You've got 1, 2 and 3, V out, ground and VCC. You can have a look at some of the other data. Effective range 10 to 80 centimeters. Tells you a bit more about it. It does tell you which voltages it can use, etc. But it works with 5 volts. That's nice and easy. Gives you maximum ratings, 5 volts. Just going back to that graph that you saw. So the graph relates distance in centimeters on the x-axis to voltage as an output. So you can see that the closer an object gets to it, the higher the voltage goes. And there's a bit of an interesting bit here. Anything smaller than 10 centimeters suddenly results in a dropping of voltage. So it can't measure things closer than 10 centimeters because the voltage drops, and of course you can see there that at these points, is it this one or is it this one? Yeah, you've got the same voltage for the same distance. So physically you can mount it so there can be no discrepancy there. So connected up, you can see here that we've got ground, positive 5 volts, and there's an analog voltage. And what I've done is I've connected that to analog A0 on that. Okay, so to write the program for it, you can normally download one, but I think I've created one recently. There it is. Okay, so really simple program. The main bit is the analog read, and connected it to port A0, so analog read A0. I've created an integer and it just puts the value into the integer. Notice that that is not the voltage, that is a to D conversion of the voltage, which means 5 volts is 1023, 0 volts is 0, 512 as a value would be 2.5 volts. The other stuff is serial begin, so that gives me a little terminal opening which I can look at back on this terminal on the Arduino. Serial print ln, that's an L. ln means print line, so it prints A and then it will go on to another line. Delay 50 milliseconds. So let's see what happens if I go. So I'm going to program this. And then just use serial monitor to have a look at the values. So we've got a load of values coming out here, and they are proportional to the distance of an object. So as I raise and lower my hand, you can see that those values are changing. You could graph it out as well. Okay.